So what happens legally if you've got no will, no spouse, and no kids? Kind of complicated because it depends on who you've outlived and who has outlived you, basically, in your family. So first in the line of priority is your parents. So if your parents have outlived you, either both of them or just one by themselves, then they're who's going to inherit. So they'll get half each. If they've both outlived you, or whichever one is still living, will get all of it. If, however, you've outlived your parents, then it's your parents' other descendants that the law looks at next. So that means your siblings, but there is a distinction. It's your whole blood siblings who are the next in line. So your full brothers and sisters that you share a mum and a dad with, okay? But if you're a blended family and you've got half brothers or half sisters, they don't get a look in unless they are your only siblings. Also, where it gets a bit complicated is if you've got, several siblings and maybe one or more of them has died before you, if they themselves had kids who are still living, then the share they would have got will go in equal shares to their kids. Complicated, huh? Now then, if, however, you were an only child and you've outlived both of your parents, then what the law looks at is the next generation behind, so your grandparents' generation. So any of your surviving grandparents will inherit if they have outlived you, but that's kind of unusual. More commonly, it's the descendants of your surviving grandparents. So that might mean your aunts and uncles. And once again, we're talking about aunts and uncles of the full blood, not of the half blood, okay? So once again, if you've got if you've got several aunts and uncles and one or two of them or whatever is, you only share like one grandparent in common or something, they're like half siblings of your other aunts and uncles, they don't get a look in unless they're your only surviving aunt and uncle. Just such a headache, honest to God. And once again, any of them that have passed away, their own children, their own descendants will take the share that they would have received between them in equal shares. So you can quickly see the scenario where you've got an elderly single person, has long outlived their parents, maybe long outlived all of their siblings, might even have been an only child. And so it's every kind of probate solicitor's worst nightmare, where you've got an intestate person who, is in this situation. Because what you've then got to do as a practitioner is you've actually got to employ a professional genealogist to carry out research and draw up a complete family tree and work out who actually falls into the next qualifying layer of nearest relative for the purpose of inheritance. And what you might find is that everybody from this layer gets so much, like a half or a quarter or an eighth or a 16th, whatever, but any of them that have already passed away, maybe leaving 2 kids, those 2 kids then will get like an 8th or a 16th or a 32nd and all this kind of stuff. So it can quickly become this like globe spanning investigation. I've heard so many crazy stories from long established probate practitioners where they've had to basically do an episode of Who Do You Think You Are in order to work out who the beneficiaries are of the estate. So yeah, does get very, very complicated indeed. Now, yes, this is all fun and, and if you are a single person without children and all that sort of stuff, then of course it makes sense for you to exercise free will and basically say, look, this is who I would rather inherit what I leave behind. There could be your family of choice, basically, the people that were meaningful to you, your friends, your preferred members of your family, could even be your favourite charity. Well, might as well take advantage of the fact that you're in the driving seat and actually state your wishes validly in a will, so that everything that you accumulated in life goes somewhere meaningful to you. But I suppose the other big note of caution is that, don't forget, you'd still be regarded as a single person Even if you've been in a relationship forever and you cohabit with your partner, you know, and you're effectively spouses, really, it's just that you never got, you know, the marriage certificate to prove it, basically. The default position in that situation is that your partner that outlives you gets absolutely nothing from your estate. And obviously that's, you know, a painful and difficult thing to go through. So yeah, what I would always say to you, if you're in this situation and you don't have very obvious, very close nearest relatives that you would of course want to inherit what you've got, do take control of the situation. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just write a straightforward one-page will going, this is my executor and this is who I want to leave it to, and you're sorted. Then just make sure that your executor knows where you've put that will so that they can actually put it into effect for you, and forget about it. Absolutely fine. So once again, if any of the stuff I've talked about here raises any kinds of questions for you, do of course feel free to drop me an email. My email address is included in the description to this video, and I'm always absolutely delighted to hear from you and always happy to answer any of your questions. Talk to you again soon. Bye.